If there's something to be said for quarantine, it's that I have a lot of time to read my favorite books and get caught up on all my favorite shows on Netflix and Hulu. So without further ado, let's hop into this mid-month TBR list. So the first book that I have rented out from my local library is a romance book, which is a huge surprise for me because I talked about in my reading across genre video, I talked about how romance is the only thing that I'm really just not into. I'm just not for it. My heart just doesn't squeal for joy when I see couples get together like that. So I didn't really think I was going to like it, but my teacher told me to read it, so I'm reading it. It's A Vision in White by Nora Roberts. It is about a woman named Mac who is a wedding photographer. She is not really thinking that she's going to be into love, and then, it's a romance book. She's probably going to find love, and, she does. At least I think. We've met her so far we've met her love interest. We're going to have to see how things progress. But I do have to say, I really like it so far because I think Nora Roberts does a really good job establishing Mac as a character early on. In the intro prologue, we have this segment dedicated to how when she was a child, she would play like wedding day games where her and her friends would like take various roles in a wedding, and that would be their game. That would be how they play. But it doesn't just end there. It adds layers like, oh, her parents are divorced. Her parents are divorced multiple times. This 8-year-old girl who's playing these wedding games with her friends doesn't believe in love, and she doesn't like bringing the bride because of this. And then there's a whole thing with her camera, and it's about like, oh, my dad got it for me because he's an absentee and he gets me gifts. I wasn't going to play with it, but then my grandmother said she didn't like it, and I don't like my grandmother, so then I used it. And then there's just layers to it, and I really appreciated that. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to the rest of Vision in White by Nora Roberts. The second book on my list is another Nora Roberts. It is Dark Witch. This is another romance, but it's a distinctly fantasy flavored romance with this like ancient curse and this Irish family heritage. This girl's moving back to Ireland, and then it's going to be about friendship and family and magic and the family's legacy and fighting off this evil curse. So I don't really know what to expect. I went into this one reading as little about it as possible. I just had it recommended to me, and I was like, you know what, this sounds good, but because it's romance and because I have the bias against this genre, I'm going to read into it as little as possible. I'm just going to start. So from what I know, it sounds really cool, and I cannot wait to see if I enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying Vision in White, and then you add on the fantasy elements, with fantasy being my genre. I'm excited. The next thing that I'm going to be engaging in, I suppose, as a work of entertainment in this long quarantine is The Order on Netflix. The Order is kind of like The Magicians in that there's school, secret society, magic, various hijinks, kind of like a darker twist to things. I like it. I'm almost done with it. While on the whole, I'm really enjoying The Order. I think it's a lot of fun. It's not so long that I get bogged down. I do think that the characterization is a little bit weak, and I feel like it's just dabbling in cool ideas. Like, it has some really cool ideas, but it's kind of surface level, it feels like sometimes. Like, there's a secret society, we only go toe deep into it. Like, oh, there's werewolves, we only go like a little bit into it. Like, I want to go in. Like, I want to go deep, I want to go hard, I want to figure out what's going on, I want to figure out how all these things are interacting, and it just feels like I'm always waiting for these things to happen. So, I don't know, I'm almost done with the season. Hopefully, I'm enjoying myself. If you're looking for something to pass the quarantine time with, it's good. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. I haven't seen the finale yet, though, so maybe the finale will ruin things. I don't know. The fourth book, and this is the last book that just came in. All these books only came in a couple days ago from my local library, so this is all pretty new. The fourth book is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. It is book 1 of the Gentleman Bastard series, and I am pretty stoked. Like, I am a little nervous because I've had a few people that I know come back and say they really weren't that into it. I'm gonna have to see. For the most part, I've seen really good reviews of these books. I've heard that it has an amazing set of friendships. I've read it's really engaging, and the characters are complicated, and that no one's really like a straightforward good guy. Like, everyone's got a lot of nuance. So I am looking forward to it in that aspect. I'm just hoping that the few naysayers I've heard have been over-exaggerating the book's flaws. So I'm looking forward to reading that, maybe making a review about it. It's going to be after my romances, so in case I don't like the romances, The Gentleman Bastards is going to be a nice little pick-me-up after some romance. The next book on my TBR list is actually a comic book. This is Too Bad, Waluigi Time by by Waluigi himself. I'm super, super excited about this. There was a Kickstarter for this that I pledged to years ago. It feels like this is a sequel book to the Brawl in the Family webcomic series, which is about Kirby and all his little friends in Dreamland, and then all the Smash characters going on various hijinks, and I love it. I can't wait. Waluigi's really funny. Waluigi would show up for these April Fool's Day comic strips, and he would just be like, "Too bad, wah, Waluigi time," and then wackiness would ensue. So I'm super excited. I love the artwork. I love the style. Oh yeah. I mean, you can just see there's a lot of purple because it's Waluigi, but not the whole book's not purple, and I appreciate that. But there is a fair amount of purple in here. So I'm super stoked. I've already started. I try to keep my books in a fairly rigid order of what I read them through, but I couldn't resist poking into Waluigi Time a little early. That's going to be the last of the physical books. The next thing that I'm going to be reading is actually going to be a fan fiction that I read some really good reviews for online. I haven't been reading as much fan fiction now as I did when I was younger, but this one caught my eye. It's a Harry Potter one titled The Arithmatist by White Squirrel on fanfiction.net. It's basically you take the Harry Potter world, and the Harry Potter world is frustrating sometimes because it's so loosey-goosey with its rules, and would this really apply? And kind of when you think about it too hard, things start to kind of fall apart a bit. So I enjoy things like this, where what White Squirrel has done is what if we examine it more rationally? What if Hermione is this super smart math whiz, and then we apply math and logic and science to magic? And I'm not that far in, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I think I'm going to like it more than I enjoyed Harry Potter, The Methods of Rationality. I liked it. I know there are some people who loved it. This one was basically Harry Potter is assigned a rationalist and really smart, and he applies logic and rules and stuff. But I don't know. He was really annoying. Harry was not a fun protagonist to follow in that one. So I'm hoping that this one, I'm already liking Hermione. I'm already liking the characters. I'm looking forward to the plot. So I'm excited. I'm excited. The next piece of media that I'm going to be talking about is The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. So this is something that I'm really enjoying. And in case you're wondering, yes, Kirby did move position. He fell over on me, and it was very sad. The Handmaid's Tale, I read it, Margaret Atwood's book. I loved it. I watched the show, a few episodes of it, and it was really dark and depressing, and I had to take a break from it. But now I'm back watching it again, and it is frightening. It is a scary show. It's very claustrophobic with how tight everything is, and how they can just spool out the moments and then just build and build and build this tension. I think sometimes in The Handmaid's Tale, they try to relieve some of that tension with an engaging power walk or a heroic thought monologue when it doesn't quite feel earned. I know that they're trying to keep it from being super bleak all the time, but if you're going to give me an emotional power walk of rebellion, it needs to feel a little earned. But for the most part, loving Handmaid's Tale Season 1. Can't wait to finish it. Oh, and Castlevania Season 3 on Netflix. I really enjoyed Castlevania Seasons 1 and 2. I'm not super sure where they're gonna go, but from the trailer, it looks pretty sweet. So I'm really excited about that. And I will let you know all of my thoughts for everything that I've read and watched, either in their own videos or in a wrap-up video at the end of the month. I would have done a wrap-up for the first part of the month already, but I feel like most of the stuff I've read so far I've covered in their own individual videos, and I didn't want to make a pure video about rehash. It felt a little unfair. So look forward to that coming up, and until then, I hope you find some way to pass your days in quarantine, because even in quarantine, every day is a gift, and I hope you can find something in your day that can help you smile. Down in the comments below, why don't you tell me how you're passing your days? Are you still one of those people who are forced to go to work? Most places here are closed unless they're necessary vital functions of society, but what are you doing to pass the time? Let's have a conversation about that. In the meantime, have a great day. And until next time, bye.